Awesome, awesome. Hello, everyone. Zibuniso here today with you. I'm a mortgage broker in Wellington region, and today I'm joined by beautiful Karen Max from
Wellington.
Wellington as well, not that far. So what are we going to talk today about is continuation of my webinar series, Showcase Your Business. And today I've got a few questions for Karen so we can get to know her and find out what she's doing. So Karen, can you please tell us about yourself? And you can take 1 minute or 5, entirely up to you. So please introduce yourself.
So I'm Karen from Karen Mags Coaching. Telling you about myself. I'm in my 50s, so I'm midlife. I've been married for 25 years. I've got 2 grown-up boys who have left home, and I've really just started a kind of a new career in life coaching. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Wow, you don't look like midlife at all. You look fantastic. You will have to tell us what's the secret later on in the show. What was the journey to get you into this business with the life coaching?
So I've always been a corporate girl, and owning my own business was never really on the cards for me. It was just not something I really wanted to do. I thought it was too stressful. There was, too much worry about where the next income was coming from and all the marketing. And so I was like, no, I'm never going to own my own business. But in the corporate world, I've been in corporate HR all of my life. And I felt I was really spinning my wheels. And I was like, yeah, there's something different I want to be doing, but I don't really know what it is. And I was sitting there and spinning and going, yeah, this is great. It's a good job and all that, but there's something else. And then I really loved the one-to-one work that I did in HR. That was kind of where I really felt I really enjoyed myself and excelled. And then somebody said to me, what about life coaching? And it was just like a light bulb moment. I was like, oh, okay. And so I looked into it and I'm like, yeah, this sounds really good. It looks really good. And I found the Beautiful You Coaching Academy is based in Australia.
Okay.
And I found them last year and I managed to join their program. It started in May. So I was studying all through COVID, which was really great, but I was also working full-time all through COVID. So I was working and studying. And through that, I was like, yes, this is what I want to be doing. This really works for me. I can totally get this. And also my background is a really good lead into it. And so at the end of last year, I quit my job. And I was like, oh my God, I've never done this before. I've quit my job and I started up my business with my support from my husband, obviously. And so I designed my website and got everything up and running. And so I launched in March this year. And so it's all very new, but it's all very exciting. And I just love it. It's really super cool.
And I can actually see it in you, like as you're talking about it, you're getting really passionate about your topic. And I think that's the key. But when I talk to people and I see they're passionate, I know they found their calling. And I can see it through you. So if people were watching you and were going, okay, I would love to do something like this, but I'm also scared, like Karen was, 5 years ago, let's say, in the corporate world, what do people need to learn about your business, how to get into this sort of business? Because there are so many products out there at the moment, life coaching and relationship coaching, all sorts of different coaching.
Yeah. So do you want an answer from a coaching perspective or from a getting into business perspective?
Well, give us 2.
So I think in terms of getting into business, I think you really need to know your why. You need to know what is it that you're trying to achieve. And so for me, things really fell into place when I realized that I just really want to support other midlife women who are feeling that little bit stuck, who have got to that point in their career where it's like, I've been doing this for 20, 25 years. It's not really lighting my fire anymore. Or there's other women who have perhaps devoted themselves more to family, and then all of a sudden their children are leaving home and it's like, is that it? What do I do now? And so my why is really to help those midlife women find themselves again and reconnect to their passion and their purpose, because we're so busy. And as a mum, we give a lot to our children, to our families, to our partners, to our parents, to our work, our businesses, we might be on boards of trustees at schools, and we give a lot of ourselves, and we kind of forget who we are. And then by midlife, all this change is happening, or you're feeling a bit stale, and it's like, who am I again? Where were my dreams? What's happened to those? Everything's changed, and I'm kind of sitting here going, what? And so my why is to really help midlife women in particular, but it's not only them, but to help them in particular to reconnect to that person deep inside that they've kind of put to one side while they've been helping everybody else,
and uncover the deeper purpose, I guess.
And that's my drive and my why, and what drives me forward. So from that perspective, from a business perspective, I think it's really important to know your why. From a coaching perspective, there are coaches out there for everything under the sun. So, you can have a coach on your menstrual cycle to learn more about your menstrual cycle. You can have a coach on business stuff, or marketing stuff, on mindset, on, like me, midlife stuff, on being a mum. There are coaches out there on how to be a mum and how to take care of yourself as well as your kids, so there are coaches out there for everything, and coaches are for everyone. They're not for the people, just for the high and mighty or the high earners that people kind of put up on a pedestal. Coaches are for everyone, and they're just there to help you get that little bit unstuck, to help you move forward, to help you get through that block that you've got at the moment and achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And if what you want to achieve is more balance in your life, and that's it, there's a coach out there that will help you find that balance. So if you want to achieve setting up a new company or organization, there is a coach out there who will help you do that too. It doesn't matter how small or how big your goals are. There are coaches out there that can help you achieve those goals in beautiful ways.
That's really beautifully put. And what resonated with me right at the beginning when you were saying the coaching is no longer for the high and mighty and rich people that it used to be in the past, right? I mean, if we look back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the coaching wasn't really out there, and only the elite group of people, let's put it that way, had access to those things. But now thanks to people like you that are out there, more ordinary people like me have access to you and ability to get unstuck, as you rightly put it.
And I think it's a mindset thing that we still think that coaching is for those people, celebrities and things like that. And we just need to move into that. No, coaching is for me too. I'm worthy of coaching. I'm worthy of investing in myself to move myself forward in the direction I want to go.
Yeah, it's changing those beliefs, isn't it? That as we go through life, we get a set of beliefs that we believe in, and whether they're right or wrong, we don't know until we get to a point where we realize that we're wrong all along and we need to unwind ourselves. So people like you, I think, really important in people's lives. And it's amazing, as you say, there's so many different coaches for so many different topics. And people that are looking to get into your industry, I don't think they should be threatened that, there are so many coaches out there, I'm not going to make it in life, because everyone has their own story to tell, and everyone has their own journey and their own, I guess, clientele that would resonate with them and that would relate to them.
Absolutely.
So can you tell me, what was the biggest mistake you made getting into this business, let's say, that people can learn from you and maybe necessarily save them from making the same mistake, if there was a mistake at all?
Yeah, well, I think so far, I don't think there's been any real major mistakes or traumas or anything like that. But I think one of the things in my mind was that things would happen more quickly. And obviously I was starting a business from scratch. I had no Instagram followers, I had no Facebook followers, I had no business set up, I didn't have a website, I had absolutely nothing. And I kind of had it in my mindset that things would move faster, that, there would be more action and more traction sooner than there was. And for me, it's, I guess, the thought is, don't expect things to happen too quickly. Yeah. It does take time. I'm just starting to get some real traction now, and I'm 6 or 7 months in. And so it just takes time, and you've got to keep turning up, and you've got to keep showing up on all the social medias or wherever it is that you,
like we're doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you've just got to keep being there and being consistent with your message and your plan and what you're trying to achieve, and keep in mind your why, and things will eventually start happening.
So am I hearing consistency is the key?
Yes.
Awesome. So what is unique to you and your business? I know we've touched a little bit on your journey in the beginning of who you were and how you've come into this, but what actually makes you unique?
Well, yeah, I mean, as a being unique in business, I guess because I do one-to-one coaching and I'm a sole trader, I am the unique thing. There is nothing else. It is just me. And so my business is based on one-to-one coaching. And so it's all about relationships. And to make sure that we're going to have a good relationship throughout the coaching series, I have a free discovery call before we launch into the coaching series. And that's really, so say if you and I were going to do a coaching series, that's really to make sure that you're comfortable with me and I'm comfortable with you. We're going to get along. It's also to check that you're suitable for coaching, because sometimes there are issues that are best dealt with through counseling or therapy, and that is different to coaching. And so it's really kind of a check-in to, check the vibe between each of us, make sure everything's okay and that we're both ready and want to go through a coaching series together.
That's really awesome. So let's say someone is watching us, and wants to reach out to you. All they can do is really go on your website and give you a call, book a time with you, have that, as I call them, free, no obligation, check in to make sure that you actually can sink in. And then that's the right thing for them. That's awesome.
And it's just a chat. Yeah. If you want to just call me and just have a chat, let's just have a chat. That's all it is. And I think there's a little bit of uncertainty or a little bit of concern that they're a little bit scared to make that first step. And what I want to say is, don't be scared. It's just a chat. It doesn't matter if it doesn't go any further. There's absolutely no obligation. It's really just, hey, let's connect. Let's have a chat. That sounds great. Let's move on if you want to move on. Or actually, maybe we're not quite so connected, but it was really fun talking to you. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's okay to reach out and say, yeah, I'd like a free discovery call. Can I find out more about you?
That's awesome. That's really good. And see, I believe in services like this because, as you probably know as well, I mean, as a mortgage advisor, I get a lot of calls too, where people want to see if they qualify for a mortgage or not. And often, I mean, all it takes sometimes that, half an hour chat, 5-minute chat, depends on how long people have, to understand where they are in their journey, whether they're ready now or whether they'll be ready down the track, or whether they're not ready at all for me, or we haven't clicked, which rarely happens, but sometimes people go along and they find something else. But I think having those sort of services is vitally important, especially in the society we live in right now, where we're not really face to face as much anymore. No. And having ability to actually talk to someone, not just press 1 to speak to another robot, press 2, and things like this. So I think it's really important to have this. So I think the clients that you'll have would appreciate having the ability for this. So what makes you get up in the morning? What fires you up every morning? What gets you out of bed?
Well, just the idea that I get to speak to these amazing women every day and walk with them on their journey and see the transformations that take place. I mean, honestly, it is so amazing. So I'll do 3-month and 6-month coaching series, and you would be amazed at the transformations that can take place in 3 months. unbelievable to just watch these brilliant ladies totally transform in front of my eyes. And we form these great relationships as well. And it's just so inspiring. And it's such an honor to work with these women and walk beside them. I just love it. It's just so cool.
That's awesome. So I can definitely see that the decision you made last year to leave your job and get into this has been definitely your decision.
Yeah.
I mean, in the middle of the pandemic, who leaves their job?
I know, yeah.
and goes into something like this. This is amazing. So if you had one piece of advice, I know we've touched on a few advices throughout this interview, but if you had one piece of advice that you would give out to anyone, and you can pick your audience, what would it be?
I think it's really to believe in yourself. So there are lots of different ways of working and lots of different businesses that we can have and could have and have had in the past. And I think what I've come to realize that it's okay to create your own rules, and it's okay to create business the way you think it should be created. So in the past, we've all grown up in a very patriarchal society, and it's pretty much said, you need to run a business like this, you set it up like that, you have these goals and these strategies, you need to make this much by a certain amount of time. And it's been very structured and very linear, and it's also been very competitive.
Yeah.
And we're moving away from that. We're moving into a more creative, intuitive, and a more cooperative way of working. And the idea that actually there's enough for everybody. Mm-hmm. We don't need to compete like that all the time. And in fact, if we lift other people up, then that benefits everybody. And so it's kind of believe in yourself and what you're trying to achieve, believe in your why, and we will all create a better community together, a better world together by doing that. I mean, the world's changing. It's okay to develop your own style of doing things. And we've all seen the world change in front of our eyes, kind of like overnight. Within a year, everything's changed. And so whatever you're trying to do, it may not be what's gone before, but that's okay, because we need this creative, cooperative style to come forward more. And also, it's better to have tried and failed than to not have tried at all.
Not tried and wanted.
Yeah. You don't want to be on your deathbed going, I wonder what would have happened if I'd actually started that business or done this or, tried that. It's better, I think, to have tried it and gone, that worked, or that didn't work, but if I did it this way, it might. It's much more what's the word? It just makes you feel so much better. It's much more rewarding when you've done that rather than held yourself back.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I mean, 3 years ago when I had this opportunity to jump into being a franchise owner on my own after working for 7 years in the bank, where, the pay was stable, everything was ticking along, come to work, you leave work, you go home, and life is good. And to go into this where this was sold to me as a part-time job that I could do around the kids, I won't really be doing much time. I mean, I've completely jumped into this head in, and I feel like sometimes I work way more than I ever did in my entire life. But the rewards that come with this of what I'm doing and how much difference I'm making in people's life versus how much difference I made in my 7 years in the bank versus in 3 years that I've made since being a franchise owner here has been absolutely mind-blowing. And all I could wish for is I've done it sooner. Sometimes that's what I sit there and I wondered, but everything has its own time, and people come to the point where they're ready and they can feel that calling that comes from within them. Karen, how do people find you? Tell me, how, if someone wants to get in touch with you, where would people come and find you?
So I'm on Instagram, so you can find me at Cara Mags Coaching, or I'm on Facebook, same thing. And you can also go onto my website, which is www.caramags.com.
Awesome.
.com. Yeah,
easy.
I've got a .com.
You've got a .com. That's amazing. Easy. And do you do appointments via Zoom like this, or face-to-face, or phone? How do you?
So I do them mostly via Zoom, which I find it's really great because it takes the stress and the pressure away of, oh my God, I've got to get to such and such a place by such and such a time, and the traffic's worse than I thought it was, and now I can't find a park. And
people can be in their pajamas.
Yeah, they could be in their pajamas. They could be at work. They could just book a meeting room if they're in the corporate world and duck in there for an hour and have their session with me. It's much more flexible in terms of time. It means I can see people from all over the country and all over the world. You know, I've coached people in Auckland and Christchurch and Canberra and all over the place. So it doesn't matter where you are, you know, and we can still build a great connection via Zoom. I think people are very used to the old one-on-one, face-to-face. But it's not like that anymore. You know, the world has changed.
Yeah, in a way, I feel like thanks to COVID, you know, everyone now knows Zoom. And if you didn't buy your shares for Zoom a year ago, you've missed the boat. Zoom has been, you know, absolutely amazing for a lot of businesses. So that's awesome. Karen, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. And if there will be any questions, I bet people will come back to you or to me, and then I will let you know. But thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best in your journey. I can't wait to see where it leads you.
Thanks, Ivanusa. It's been really fun.